What's up, everybody? Welcome. Welcome back to the stream. It's Cosmo Weird. Another day, man. Another day in the seat. I swear, sometimes, I gotta say, I'm gonna. It's late. It's gonna be 3 a.m. I usually end around this time, so I don't really. I'm not gonna. This is not gonna be a long stream. Um, it was one of those nights where my son, who's sick, he's been cranky all day, and it's like he's finally sleeping. He was sleeping a little bit early, but he got up. He was cranky again. It's rough. He's in a rough disposition. I think that there's too many stress factors in life right now. It is not. It is not a. I don't believe in the world today that it is a welcoming environment for new people to arrive in it. It's really rough. So many reasons, so much hatred, so much division, so many places where you can't be, where you don't belong, where others will not tolerate you or compete with you, or and there's such a pressure to survive, and not just survive but to thrive, because you're trying to like get ahead in the event that there's a tragedy, some sort of downturn. And human beings, I think we forget how much we mean to each other and how much we influence each other's lives, and that the whole thing gets better when we ensure that people are good, people are doing well. They went and slap labels on this kind of concern, and I say the individuals who have no interest in the well-being of others, who have very little interest in the well-being of people that are outside their personal camp, that benefit them personally. It seems like the contest of humanity is in between these two camps, and one is always rising in ascension into positions of power, because they want power so they don't have to share it, and one is always in service, trying to clean up their mess. It's the story of the world, it's just, and then compassion and compassionate people is demonized, because it makes these, dare I say, inhuman freaks start to feel bad. It just shows you that there's some humanity. There's a part in them that to some degree doesn't want to feel bad. They want to be accepted, they want to be embraced, but they cannot fathom having to pay a cost to their personal profit in order to gain that acceptance. They can't fathom that they have to share their bread, or that they have to be polite, or that they have to contribute towards a common good. They just slap a label on it, and then they demonize that label, and then anything that goes with it is by association bad. And I think that it bums you out. So you got a kid in the world who's completely innocent, who needs an incredible amount of love and attention and compassion, but you're bringing them into a world where his natural and necessary vulnerability and his innocence is just protein for some predator out there. It's just he's someone to be exploited. He's another body on the what they call it, not the chain gang, might as well be the production line. He's not real in the sense that he deserves human dignity. He's only real in that he can, I don't know, eventually earn money that can then be leached, or robbed, or I don't know. And this is the standpoint of somebody who does not see enough communal concern in the world, doesn't see enough of the hostilities being driven down by individuals who are focused on peace. That peace is, in fact, an anathema. It's like poison. So a lot of these individuals who have the power to make a change, but then don't. I think maybe it's some part of them. You shine a light on them, and it's like cornering an animal, and they can't. They can't function. I play Hell Is Us, and I play Chronos: The New Dawn, which, independently of everything else, are pretty cool video games. And there's a lot of games that I could play that could occupy this spot. What's up, Tommy? And most of the games, as I look through my library, most of the conflicts that are featured there are artists channeling their understanding of the world. And a lot of the conflicts have to do with ultimate power being corrupted somehow, and broken, often imperfect, individuals or beings trying to fix the mess, even though they themselves can only do so much. You do have the fantasy of like being a Spider-Man or Batman or Aloy, let's say, or Kratos or whatever. But of course they're not made real until they have flaws that we can relate to. And the story is that they overcome, but it's only interesting if it's against impossible odds. And so that's just to sell the thing. But, then we look to the world. The real world. And it's a reflection of everything that we've been experiencing in the microcosm. Except we don't feel anywhere like we're powerful, or like we're leveling up, or like we're meant to win. We don't feel that way. Somehow I've allowed this to happen. Because the world is only made up of people like us. And somehow, everywhere you look, there's some sort of corruption or injustice. And vulnerable people in really rough situations that they cannot. You can't get out of, no matter how hard they try. And if you are empathetic at all, you feel for them, and it's not performative. You can't sleep at night because you understand that from that desperate pain and need, they're gonna lash out, and that pain is gonna spiral out. Hell, you could even, for personal reasons, be, personal survival reasons, be empathetic. You're like, that person is not doing well, and they might be over there, but they could come over here. I could see it in their body language. They're going to do harm because they're scared, they're going through mental health anguish, they're impoverished, they're desperate. And whether I like it or not, I'm going to be exposed to it. And this is something that a class of people that are very powerful, who created those conditions, can keep themselves away from. They don't have to deal with the consequence. But those of us on the ground do. And we have a responsibility, I think, to make an economy that serves the masses, and to make a value system that serves the masses, that lifts the masses up. And I think that, today I was having a conversation online where I made some points about, like a wealth tax or something. And counter logic is that a wealth tax is unconstitutional. And the counter to that is like, well, why is any tax constitutional? Like, we have to, we have to bring in revenue. And we have a certain amount of tax brackets. It just seems like at some point the progress of those tax brackets stop, and then there's just like slip space after that, and individuals can make profits here or abroad with abandon, beyond the reach of taxation, while systems buckle under the weight of those hoarded assets not being distributed, and forcing governments to engage in war in order to somehow balance the books, or at least avoid political accountability. And it just, to make those points, you're then called like asinine, like you don't understand what's at stake. Meanwhile, that model has played itself over and over and over again to the detriment of all people. So while I don't mean to sit here and just monologue at myself at 2:30 in the morning, no, now 3, with the futility of someone who may or may not understand what's going on, I do believe that not to be curious, not to be upset, not to feel worried, not to feel emotion, not to engage, not to try to piece it all together is dumb. We literally are here playing a character who's doing all of those things, bothering themselves until they take action and try to figure something out. And the whole game is action, and the whole game is investigation, agency. And even if we start off from a dark place, I don't think that we should deny ourselves that investment. I think people matter. Concerns are warranted, and we should not be programmed into blind submission. I don't know. So those are just opening thoughts in the first 10 minutes or so of this stream. So anyway, that's it. That's my opening monologue. Let's play some Hell of This. Okay. I should probably look at these dead guys. He did not have a good time. I should probably just warn folks that I'm probably going to be thoughtful. Oh, hear the sounds outside? We arrived in a war zone. Oh, peacekeepers.
We got called here for a public disturbance. What we got was an angry mob hell-bent on burning the place down. They were really fired up. Something about justice for decades of manipulation and persecution. He stormed the ministry. Shit went to hell in a handbasket real fast. Now half my unit is dead or missing. What a goddamn mess.
V for Vendetta, but things going very much south. Peaceful solution at the end. I have to finish that comic. I have the graphic novel. And I've got some tea.
I wouldn't go in there if I were you. Bunch of fucking savages. I've never seen anything like it. There's something about this country. No civility. It's like everyone has lost their humanity.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm worried about too. I was just watching of this woman, Greta Thunberg, going out again to try to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. She's possessed. There's something about that woman that is unreal. I mean, she's surrounded, by the way. It's not just her. She just happens to be the face of it. But it's God, man, what a life. She has so few resources, but she acts like that. Like, I don't know, man, like she's invincible or something. It's crazy.
didn't mean to. I swear. I tried to warn them. They just started charging towards me. I had no choice.
Yikes. Ministry of Cultural Primacy, level 3 access card, first aid. Oh. Okay, so this is interesting. Such a different environment compared to the last environments. We're actually in like a, you know, like a civilized area. Civilized, quote unquote. What's this? Delivery truck, Ministry of Cultural Primacy. Morton, 92. Morton, great news from the Jachin dig site. Another palpitating find, we have excavated a large box of chest of sorts, with clear limbic signatures. It is locked, of course, so its contents are unknown to us. Perhaps by serendipity, we have also unearthed one of the 2 keys required to open it. Long, cylindrical rod, also with limbic signatures, fits perfectly into one of the chest locking mechanisms. Jelgin. Sent the first key along with this letter. Confident the second key will be found on site. This, however, requires a great deal of careful handling. Archaeology camp. Oh, I'm assuming it's these two. To the coffer of buried forges of the earth. To the coffer of the ancient cemetery of Sebin's faithful. Over the wistful marshes of lost. For the crystal lake of the mountain. Okay, so they have the same. So the coffer of the buried forges of the earth. This is not the same, but they have the same drone translation. Limbic chest, Jelgin archaeology camp. Okay. Well, we'll try to take a look. See if I can find it. What am I doing here? I'm 0. Small. Basic med kit. What's the difference? Increase endurance regeneration. Endurance restoration 6. Oh, I see. Wear this to restrain your rage. There's no buff or benefit to that catering. So many dead. So many. Rough. For what? Can't get through that door. You gotta think, like, what is left behind after everything falls apart? Who is this person? Plastic bag holding the half-burnt remains of several sheets of paper. Rom of House Astor is born to parents Gerald and Cecilia Astor. You're going to leave an indelible mark on Haiti at 79 years of life. Rom, 714 AD.
Identification confirmed. That's Martin Lost, all right. He seems indisposed at the moment. Have a look around. There's got to be some clues left in this god-awful place.
Well, he didn't do that to himself.
December 15th, 1992. We've made an unexpected discovery in the tunnels below the cemetery. 2 doorways with dial lock mechanisms. This is truly curious, as they do not appear on any of the ancient schematics we've previously recovered. The first doorway and its locking mechanism are replete with House Astor symbolism. My initial theory, and this is a long shot, is that the symbols on the dial represent the members of Lord Astor's family. We know Lord Astor was obsessed with the image of the perfect family. The patriarch sitting squarely at the head, just as the crown rules its subjects. I will keep you apprised, should I discover anything more about the door.
How do I get into this? Doesn't seem to be a clue. Where else? Maybe it's when this guy died. What is 714 plus 79? Let me see. 784, 793? It's 80 years. 794. 793. Why would they put this in the room? Is this like his death, maybe? Maybe it's the opposite. It's 80 years before 714. 714 minus 80. It's like... That's actually... I can't do that math. Is that right? 635, is it? Let's do that in my head. Let's see if I got that right. 714 minus 635. Oh, I got it right. Nope.
Bunch of corrupt snakes lining their pockets while we suffer like guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm.
They lied to us, pitted us against each other. Look at what they've done to the city, to its people. We went after our neighbors. It should have been these damn suits that we butchered.
Wow. Ministry car blackmailed. Okay.
How could we have been so blind? For years, they've been pumping their poison into our minds. TV, radio, music, even our children's school books. And those fucking speeches! We lost ourselves. We became their weapons. Just wind us up and point us at each other. They played us like a fiddle. And this one? Behind the door? She's part of that system. She deserves every bit of what's coming to her.
After years of war, Ram Master is crowned king of Hadia at the age of 59. episode. What is the...
Enough is enough! Fuck these warmongers! I bet they weren't expecting the madness they sowed to find its way back to them. They wanted this, not us! My sister's husband was a good guy. No one cared that he was a Palamist. Until their lies started. You should have seen what we did to him. Setharus, have mercy on our souls. They'll all fucking pay for this.
This is civilians turning on the government.
Follow up on case number 2190, Citizens Report of Seditious Activity. Investigation inconclusive. False accusation suspected. Dispatched compliance units to both reporter and reported. Follow up on case number 2197, Citizens Report of Seditious Activity. Investigation produced indisputable evidence. Dispatched retrieval unit. Subject's first offense. Protocol mandates assignment to re-education program.
Incognito. There are a couple of soldiers that need those materials. I gotta find out where they are. Okay. Coronation. So he's crowned king at 59. Lives for 79 years. He was born in 714 AD, and then 773 is when he's crowned king. And what's the... Digit code? It's just supposed to be some obvious mathematical. Oh shit.
Please, help me get out of here.
Who are you?
Those animals, the mob. They murdered my colleagues, my friends. They beat my boss and hanged him in his office. I'm the one who called the peacekeepers. They did what they could under the circumstances. The guy standing behind that door locked me in here. He said I was dessert. Please, I'm scared. The creature. I could escape if only that thing was... Please.
Do you know Martin Rolst?
Martin was my boss. Just get me out of here, and I'll...
What can you tell me about this symbol?
Help me, and I'll...
not sure if this is the right number to call. I'd like to report some, suspicious activity. It's my neighbor. He's been receiving a lot of visitors lately, more than usual. Sometimes 2 or 3 vehicles at a time. And last night after curfew, I searched through the garbage bags he put out on the street, and I found 3 forbidden books, all heavily used.
What a
He lives
snitch.
at 118 Dredick Street here in Leaf. I just want to be sure to do the right thing.
Banning books, huh?
Thank you.
Oh boy. This game. They are telling a story here, let me tell you.
My God, what an absolute mess. People have lost their minds in this country. I think it's safe to say our mission was a colossal failure. I'm just trying to make it back to my unit at this point. But these savages will tear me apart if they see my uniform. Oh, okay. 0 points for style, but that could work. I should be able to slip by with the clothes you brought me. I never would have signed up if I knew how much trouble this uniform would give me. I should be able to slip. I never would have.
Twins Conrad and Fidello are born to Lord Bram. As there to be his only 2 children. There's 3 years. And then there's a secondary number. It's locked from the other side. Is this a dead end? How so? Channel 60. Six digits. 7959-2. Second. Assassinated, just ending a glorious 20-year reign. $7.93.
I should be able to slip by with the clothes you... I never would have...
There's 4 paintings. One of them has to do with his assassination. $7.93. Four paintings in 6 digits. No, I did $7.93. That was when he died, and that was when he was assassinated. But $7.93 was not the. I have to solve this puzzle before I can continue. Go back down to the parking lot and see if there's a vehicle that I can open up with this key. One of these cars is not like the other. Okay, guess not. Maybe it's once I get outside. Oh. There you go. Disobedience. Arrival on location. Silas. While searching the premises, evidence of contraband was discovered. Object of interest was confiscated. Subject apprehended at his place of employment on charges of possession of restricted material. Subject has been confined and interrogated. Subject claims the object was a family heirloom. Object in question bears a striking resemblance to another confiscated last month. Object resembles a shaft, a rod. With agent said in office 108 about similar. Interesting. Okay. That's cool. Didn't help me open those doors, but... Alright, so we have a 6-digit combination. The only numbers available are coming from, so far that I can see, 4 paintings. And each painting has 2 sets of numbers on there, which may indicate a mathematical relation or pattern. Trying to see if there's any other paintings that would tell this story. Digits. Very loud music. Wish you could like can I turn that shit off? It's very loud. Every time I get over here, it's super loud. hope I'm not just dense. Lord Astor, born in 714. Wait, hold on. No, that doesn't make sense. 6 digits. Could it be his life and death? Like 714, 793, something like that. Hell. Okay, I could drop down, shit. That's awkward. My drone is taking some kind of path to get to that thing. Coronation year of the king. Date of birth. It could be 12242, something like that. I was teaching class of these things. How'd they get in here, man? I gotta get back upstairs. Oh, hello. What are you doing here, buddy? Office 109. Or did you? Another. Blank ID card that's going to be given to somebody. Limbic rods. Man, they were confiscating all these damn limbic rods. There's no way to know. Four digits. I could go through like it's like four digits, right? Hello. Never had to the sheep long enough. So, okay, so those post-it notes are the coordinates that are given by Eastern talisman's intricate adornments believed to have been battle charms that were attached to weapons and armors of medieval Hydia, named after the Prosperian village where the first samples were unearthed near the banks of the Dow River in 1807. Where did she go? Wasn't she? Hold up. Did I lose her? What's up?
How could we have been so blind? TV, we lost ourselves. And this one?
Thank you for saving me. Only Setharus knows what that animal would have done to me. I'm getting out of here as soon as I can.
Who are you?
My name is Maeve Tristana. I was Martin's assistant here at the Ministry. I was working for him, even back when he was an archaeologist. Things were much simpler back then. Everything changed when Martin became the fucking deputy minister.
Now tell me more about Martin Ralst.
Martin was obsessed with Lord Astor. He decorated this floor with several of his portraits. Martin always found it strange that he could only find shallow information on such an important historical figure. I'm pretty sure you didn't risk coming here to gab about Martin. However, you need to brush up on your knowledge of Lord Astor if you want to access Martin's computer. Martin had a bad memory and kept reminders of his passwords and codes. They must be around here somewhere.
What can you tell me about this symbol?
When the Ministry of Cultural Primacy was created, Martin proposed this symbol as its official emblem. In fact, Martin's obsession with Lord Astor began with that symbol. It concerned a vital discovery he made during one of his digs. Martin believed this symbol would shed light on Lord Astor and his secrets. I have no clue what the symbol means or where it's from. Martin's story, I don't know why, but each time Martin opened his safe, he said, "If only history moved backwards." I hope that helps. Hadia was divided into two distinct groups, the Palamists and the Sabinians.
Our country's still divided, but the groups have drastically changed into the persecuted and the persecutors. Palamist or Sabinian, it doesn't matter anymore. Look at what happened here. Sabinians are now killing their own. Funny how Palamist snipers didn't fire a single shot. I guess they were too busy enjoying the show. We're gonna destroy ourselves, and I can't help but feel partially responsible. The Ministry of Cultural Primacy quickly took control of the media. We knew the media would play a critical role in swaying the Sabinians into a conflict. We created an environment that made war possible.
Jesus.
We attacked civic principles, fueled the fear of ethnic retribution, dehumanized the other side, and engineered consent. I didn't come up with these plans. However, I did pass out memos. Mailed letters, took notes, and scheduled the meetings. I went along with it. I could have quit and walked away, but I didn't. You know when you lie so much that you forget the truth. I believed the lies we were perpetuating. Sadly, I wasn't the only one. I have to say, I was surprised. They actually showed up when I called them for help. The peacekeepers have been more interested in keeping the airport running than safeguarding civilians. Anyway, there was little they could do. The mob, there were just too many of them. They didn't save me. You did. I thought the Sabinians were supposed to be on the same side. Losing my colleagues in such a vicious manner fills me with grief. But a part of me feels relief. They no longer have to endure. The Palamist forces have besieged Leith for months. But it feels like it's been years. Time tends to slow down when you're in hell. They shelled our beautiful city to rubble. They've destroyed most of our infrastructure to the point where getting food and medical supplies is next to impossible. Their snipers have made walking in the streets a perverse game of survival. Palamists are monsters. There is nothing human about them. I couldn't even look at one at first. The way they move, their sounds and screams, and their primal ferocity, they terrified me. But then, I realized something. They weren't after us. They weren't hunting us down unless provoked. I began to observe them from behind the safety of a third-story window. I was still afraid, but then I found myself pitying them. They're in pain. They're twisted, warped, and mindlessly roaming our streets. They search and want nothing. Aimless and empty like the holes in their bodies. They don't randomly shoot people in the streets. They don't fill mass graves with the innocent. They don't rape women. They don't enslave children. Who's the real monster? I don't have any use for this.
The number of discoveries coming out of the dig site is nothing short of remarkable. Never would have met such a treasure trove when we first started this endeavor. Storing the crucial pieces in safe at the office. I'm gonna trust them at the dig site, but it being safe at this rate. Okay. This is an excellent idea. What better guardian for my valuables than King asked himself? Major events of his life will be like the teeth on the master key. We'll start with portraits hanging around the office. All will be comprised of an important detail in each painting's caption. The dates can determine the order. Brilliant. When the save is already well hidden, changing the code will give you peace of mind. Portrait. Random portrait to replace the one of Aster's coronation. I was downstairs last night rereading one of my favorites when I had M50. Browning. Simply the end result. True masterstroke was the bridal war. That should be the focus of this new painting. Already updated my safe code to take this new revelation into account. I'll be waiting with bated breath for the new report, the new portrait. So there's a 5th painting? Downstairs. This is when he was born. 79 is the last number. '59 is in the middle somewhere. '20 is the first number. This was... So... Let me see. Is the first sorry, my brain. Okay, it's late. So 754 comes before 773. That was when he was crowned king. So this is the second to last number. It's just 2. Hmm. 279. 20. 59. 279. bridal war. Uh-huh. So 20. Hmm. 770 AD. In 773 he was crowned king. No, no, no. In 793 it was 20. He died after 20 years. He was reigning king. In 773 he was crowned king. I think it was 59. In 754, he had 2 sons. 770, 32. So 20, 59. Some Game of Thrones stuff going on. Okay. So 20, 59, 3279. I think I've got it. This one's disappeared. That might have been a number just to throw us off. This code down here? Anyone's guess? Wait, what? 6 digits. major events of his life. The portraits hanging around the office. The code will be comprised of an important detail in each painting's caption, and the dates can determine the order. His life, maybe not his son's life. He was crowned king. Let me review. His milestone, is that included? Is that? Tragedy. I mean, if you take out his death, or you take out $770. So it's 32. If you're looking at single digits, it has to be that high. 32. It's like 20, 32, 59. 20, 59, 32. From his death going backwards. legendary Auriga museums, we found the sealed covered agile gems with its locking mechanism. Alright.
Thank you for saving me.
Now tell me more.
Martin was obsessed. Martin always found it I'm pretty sure you didn't risk. However, you need to brush up on your knowledge of... Martin had a bad memory and kept reminders of his passwords and codes.
What can you tell me?
When the Ministry of Cultural Prime... In fact, Martin's obsession with Lord Astor began with that symbol. Martin believed this symbol would shed light on... I have no clue what the symbol... I don't know why, but each time...
Okay. Is she gonna be safe here?
I don't have any... I don't have any...
Okie doke. Whose office is this? Anyways, office 109. Doesn't say. I wonder if it has anything to do with the exposition. There's no indication though. Like, let me see if I can find it. Oh, there's a note in the national office in the library. So if you go there first and you come back, then you have this information. That's funny. Okay. But you can find that right away. You'll have to do all that backtrack. Small stamp and an ink pad. Okay, I think that this is the end of it. There's no exterior. No, that's an opportunity for us just to head downstairs and that's it. Oh. it was a very small map. Limited combat, these people all stressed out.
How could we have been so blind? TV, we lost our...
Okay. So I have to go to the National Library. I wonder if the other map, the library, is very similar. And like, once you have that, then you can go back to the two big maps and, you know, fully finish up what you've got to do there. It is possible.
Find something interesting find. Let's see what the server can tell us about it.
Speech given by Phineas Bazima in Nepal in 1990. A vibrant politician from Umbrahan addressed the Palamas masses gathered for the holy pilgrimage to the Grand Temple of Palam in the Illigrad Valley. The speech contained extensive anti-Sabian rhetoric as well as radical call to return the Illigrad Valley to the Palamas' hands. The crowd became incensed and flooded into the streets of the city, looting and burning Sabinian stores and homes. The crackdown from the low Sabinian police force was swift and brutal. The riot was dispersed by nightfall, but hundreds lay dead in the streets.
Good find. I'll look it up.
To redistribute populations within Hadia. The country's long history of warfare, provincial borders had shifted a great deal. In the early 60s, Gerion Yankel proposed to return these conquered territories to their de jure holders. First step in the unification plan known as Operation Parallel. The government would subsequently offer tax breaks and other incentives to help bolster minority populations. Later, a lottery system was put in place to select families for forced displacement. The ultimate objective was to ensure an even distribution of ethnicities across India.
Hey, Jelgin.
Jelgin. I think I've got a little bit of a... Yeah, I have a delay. Excuse me. Okay, so let's go back to the chapel. If I can remember how the hell to get there. Assume it's that chapel there, right? I have to now find where this damn. Okay, that's not it. Under here? I never opened that door? No. It's part of the bigger puzzle. Open. Okay. We certain it's not through here? Like, this isn't it. Then down this way. And this is a dead end. And that's not it. There is another entrance. Somewhere else. Not there. Not there. Is there something in this camp, by the way? Because I feel like there may have been. We're still missing the piece. I have one, but not the other. We, the 8 pupils of the Eye, bear the solemn weight of the station. Honored are we, yet bound in equal measure, custodians of the burden, the shame, and the true purpose of the Order of the Eye. And we know, beyond doubt or illusion, that peril does ever lurk in the shadows, not only from the foes who gather beyond our walls, but from the grave specter of treachery within, as to have chosen our course. In secrecy we have approached 8 esteemed generals of the full guard, each chosen blindly, that no bias nor design might sway our hand. To them we have entrusted a task most dire, to create in silence a failsafe, a shield unseen, a ward against catastrophe, should one of our own seek to unmake what we have built and ensnare the Eye. Their work shall remain veiled even from us, for knowledge of such a safeguard is itself a danger. Never shall they speak of what they weave, never shall their lips betray the measures they set in place. They shall carry their burden to the grave, leaving behind only whispers in the blood of their kin, that their descendants may stand watch, that the Eye may endure, should darkness ever rise from within. Belgrand the 19th, Drak the 19th, Gabran the 15th, Jish the 16th, Zargab the 14th, Zek the 18th, Hoz the 17th, and Faram the 13th. The Hellion vanguards were venerated by the soldiers, their presence a harbinger of hope for the troops, and ruin upon the limbic abyss. Among the common folk they were named the Hammers of Setharus. They grew beyond warbands, the armor bore grim adornments, reflecting the entities they fought. The banners billowed with sigils and motif, testament to their slain foes. Their mere presence echoed the monstrosities they fought. They had forged more than strategy, they had forged identity. Between the second and third invasions, the Hellions ceased to be mere warriors, they became orders. Bound by code and ritual, they formed lodges, knightly brotherhoods. The traditions bore the mark of the eternal adversaries. But they knew that to unmake the darkness, one must first understand its depths. Thus the Hellion Lodges were born. A lodge of grief, a brotherhood draped in the solemn hues of mourning. They move as phantoms upon the battlefield, silent as the grave. The Lodge of Ecstasy, frenzied and relentless, their blades sing through the air like the revelry of death, adorned in dazzling hues of yellow. The Lodge of Terror, cloaked in nightmarish emeralds, their mere presence stops the will of any bystander. Lodge of Rage, raving berserkers, their armor spiked and their weapons massive, embodying wrath itself, pointed in the same burning red as their destined foes. Lodge of Admiration, devout and unswerving, their reverence for their cause shines in verdant, gilded sigil, their holy conviction as sharp as their spears. Admiration, the Lodge of Loathing, known to never sleep, such as their disgust for their foes. Some fight with blindfolds made of purple silk, as to not see what they disdain so forcefully. The Lodge of Vigilance, armored in clothes of orange, their scholars and technicians, their strategies immaculate, knowledge and patience is their shield. Lodge of Amazement, explorers of limbic knowledge, their banners bear seals of the unfathomable, rendered in vivid cyan, always astonished and impatient to do their signed horrors. But I only deal with the first 4. Grief is blue, Ecstasy yellow, Terror is green, and Rage is red. Admiration, Loathing, Vigilance, Amazement. We don't see those. Great Sword of Ecstasy. An Axis of Terror. I return to my chambers alone, quill in hand. These words I set to parchment, yet even as I write, I scarcely believe them. The candle before me gutters, slight dim is my hope, for what has come to pass beyond reason's grasp, which is gone, vanished. The imminent shroud, grander than any citadel, vaster than any fortress, wrought by mortal hands, vanished into the void. Alas, I inscribe these words, though there is no wrath in me. For how may such a thing be true? I'm in a construct of stone and steel, greater than kings I've ever dared dream, simply be missing. Or still our instruments speak of an unfathomable horror. The rum's limbic tone, desyncopators measure the sphere's propagation still. They mark its growing, its endless unfurling. How may this be? When the shroud is no more. How may this be? When our hands grasp at naught but empty air, or once stood. Yesterday, host did utter the most cursive words my ears have ever suffered to hear. I've not spoken to him since. He dares believe this fear itself had devoured the shroud of old madness. He must put down his mead, that one. And yet, even as I scorn his words, I shout out calls within my mind. What if he's right? I wonder if that suggests that matching the enemy. Hold up. Judging archaeology camp. It's hard to know when you're completed with something. Okay, I don't think we have any new research materials. Got a bunch of new weapons. And I'm tempted to go to the Origa Museum before going to the National Library. Is this supposed to be like the Palamist side, and this is the Sabinian side? I wonder. Those are statues. All shall look upon me and obey. Of all things to look upon him. These enemies? I made statues of these things. SIF. And doctors, oh boy. So something got out. Rear guard. Unit enters a state of high alert. Listing high voltage discharge to staggered limbic entities approaching the user. Into an aerial assault. Death from above. I think I may. Damage is 1 damage. Why is that? They just rolled out a tank and left it there. Doctors never made it. Training. Runs OMSIF. Who are these guys? Training room.
Someone out there? Hey! Stop! Is somebody out there? Finally. Thank God. Listen, I'm stuck in the training room on 4B1. I'm safe, but I don't know for how long.
Who are you?
How about we skip the formalities for now?
Okay. Backup generator must be activated. Levels ensure critical process can wind down safely. Each level's electrical substation can only supply power to 1 or 2 grids at a time on that level. Did I get that guy killed? Trying to unlock red with the enemies just popping out like that? I'll have to come back to that guy. Yellow's not an option yet.
Soldier, I need assistance. Soldier, I need assistance.
But how do I even talk to you?
Soldier, I need assistance.
I can't get in there. You need to find the...
Hey, soldier, I need assistance.
You need to find the Avengers of Blue Wall. Blue, ow. Oh. Orange. Blue and orange. I think if we do... Not even sure which one to do first, blue or orange. Be a little bit confused over. Okay, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. It is officially 5 a.m. and I feel like this is gonna be like we're 2 hours in. It's 5 a.m. and yeah, admittedly I came on late, and this is gonna involve me. Like I'm awake, but tomorrow's another day, and I gotta get some Z's. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go get some Z's. Gotta walk and everything. Tomorrow's another day. I was in a kind of a weird headspace. I'm not gonna lie. From the beginning of this stream, I think there's a lot of important stuff that's going on. And I'm on top of the news because I'm praying, I think, to see a lot of good news, a lot of peace and normalization being restored, and but I think people are just, either they're out there being really vocal, or they're just trying to keep their head down and be good and make it into the next season. Winter's on the way. I don't think we can all just be out there pretending like nothing's going on, but we also can't be despairing. And this game right now is incredibly timely, and it's interesting that so much is discussed, you know, quickly, just as part of the storytelling here. And I don't, you know, like I think it handles, you know, it's a lot to break down. You know, if you were to make a video essay, you would have a lot to work with. I almost wish that I had that as a skill, something to consider. I barely have the time to play games, you know, but I think that it's worth talking about because much like, oddly enough, this loosely reminds me of the kind of impact of Ready or Not, that first person shooter, the squad, like it's like a SWAT squad combat FPS, whatever. The thing is that it introduces the in an almost spooky fashion the issue of slave trade, you know, human trafficking, and this game has to deal with like political discourse off the deep end, you know, human depravity when humanity is aimed at itself. And the thing is that I know that the only reason why I can even have this perspective is because I'm currently enjoying first world privilege. You know, if you're in the mess, to step out and be academic about it is impossible. I think, really, you're more likely to be a part of the self-perpetuating cycle, the blood feuds and stuff. And it bums me out, it really does. Because humanity can't survive this course of history. I don't think so. The great news is, I think there is willpower for peace. I think there is willpower, but I also think that there is willpower for some to strive for supremacy. And unfortunately, I don't see how these two sides coincide, because one side will never accept the peace of the other. You know, like you can coexist so long as you restrain your rage. The people who want it all don't agree with the folks who believe that everyone deserves a life of dignity. And the people who believe that everyone deserves a life of dignity have to deal with the fact that among those people are individuals who are inherently selfish and greedy and who want it all. And so these individuals who want to help everybody have to suffer the provocations of individuals who don't want to share and who don't want to live peacefully with others and who don't strive to create room for everyone, even though the planet is abundant and we certainly can do that. And so you're trying to pump enough love and goodwill into the situation to, in a way, tame or pacify individuals who just strive for power and nothing else. But at some point, the individuals who are, and the culture that is trying to maintain some sort of compassion is driven mad, you know, because the love needs to flow. There needs to be acceptance all around. There needs to be healing everywhere. And when that doesn't happen, you turn those individuals who've been trying to really make things work into monsters in their own right. They just can't take it anymore. You know, not to mention that the side that's constantly festering this provocation is just as likely to radicalize their own against themselves because of the environment that they've created. Human beings, that want peace cannot just digest world time and hostility and enmity. It's poisonous. And Hellas Us, I think, reflects upon these troublesome human conflicts. But it only sinks in if you take the time to appreciate this game to some degree through its immersion storytelling, the scenes that they create. Gamifying this is tricky because I don't feel the game is. I think combat is serviceable, and I think that the puzzles are interesting. They make you look closer and make you pay attention. However, a game like, I don't know, I'm thinking of like Prey or any like typical Metroidvania where there is in Prey, I believe you're on I don't know if you're a facility complex, I forget, some sort of space station. You're dealing with an alien thing, and along your progression path, you're making choices as to invest into an alien part of you that is growing, or to be more, I don't know, technologically driven or something. I forget how they divide it, but they make the gameplay fit the challenge, and a lot of the mechanics are kind of, I think, hidden through the natural course of discovering that environment here, because a lot of the game mechanics are hidden through the obscurities of myth and history, and then okay, so one, it's late, and two, there's something that I'm trying to frame up that I feel what I'm trying to address is that there's everything heavy that they're talking about, and that there's even a heavy history that they're referring to, and all that lore seems to add up. But the way that it translates into like a color-coded enemy categorization and I want to say initially that I feel like it's not like it doesn't quite fit. But I think that I wonder if this game would have made more sense if his weapons were more believable. Like maybe if he were using guns instead of melee. And maybe if it were more survival horror. Or yeah, something like that. Like I feel like there's something about the combat, and there's something about the UI and that progression system that seems a little out of congruence with the story that they're trying to tell. Some games you almost can't tell that the game mechanics and the story are like two separate things. It all comes together. And then some games, it feels like they thought about these experiences in two separate rooms, and then they just kind of stacked one on top of the other, and made some fair assessments that it would work, except that it you don't really feel that the story is being told through the mechanics, or that the mechanics are utilizing what the story is trying to say. In this particular situation, what I'm saying is very nitpicky, and immediately it's just a thought that crossed my mind that I'm trying to get at the heart at. But I'm gonna return to this issue when I next play and I have some time to think about it. You know, I almost feel like it doesn't make sense. I guess that's one thing. Like, it doesn't make sense that he understands how to use these weapons, unless it's explained at some point, which it's not, like through a cinematic. That maybe he has some sort of memory that is translated through the weapon, so that he knows how to use it because the weapon is tuned for that, and it, you know. And also, I almost wish that he had more slots for holding weapons, so like God of War style, he could switch as the enemies show up. Also, that the game would kind of explain if what we're actually seeing, because there's no bestiary. So I don't know if what we're actually seeing are enemies that just constitute the the first 4 classes of these of you know, these things that come out of them and that we have to fight, or if it's all 8 and that the second tier is a harder, more difficult version to have any sort of advantage on. And does that suggest that we had an advantage with the first 4 classes? Like, was I supposed to be using a rage weapon against rage enemies? You know. So I think when you get to that point, it's just it can be so quickly overwriting what the game's about. Silent Hill, as a comparison, which we'll get into, the mechanics reflect your character's sluggishness holding weapons, from what I've seen. And the combat mechanics that would make you more effective in a fight, allows you to kind of slow down and focus on enemies' vulnerable spots, actually drive your character crazy, because I don't know, something like one explanation is that they have to focus so hard on these maddening creatures, you know, in terms of how they look, that their sanity is tested. I'm not saying that would necessarily work here. It's just the thought process that binds story mechanics together, which is what I'm thinking about. But since that is the newest thing, I feel like you have to get past like the surface level experience, joy, you know, or lack thereof. And this game nails it, because between really interesting environments, a lot of emergent storytelling, and that really works well with the you know, exploration and Metroidvania kind of effort. Your character looking kind of mysterious, having that drone on him, you know, which I feel was almost there, because, you know, he doesn't have like a dog, right? It's the drone, and the drone, you know, usually there would be a lot of some elements that would kind of add a sense of like companionship or life to that drone. We're not really seeing it. The way it hovers around you, like the crow in The Crow, you know, like the crow, Brandon Lee, you know, that adaptation of the comic, and the crow, that is sort of like the familiar of this this revenant that comes back, you know, for revenge. There's almost like a familiar aspect to this crow around our character, but you know, they don't really do much of that. So there's just things that I feel were discussions to kind of gel it better, and but they got as far as they did, and they published the game, which is never a small feat. And so my hope is, with everything that they've written, that we'll kind of like see more of it, and they'll flesh all these aspects out and really make every element sing and feel necessary. But I kind of am very curious about where this combat came from, and I feel like we got one scene where an OMSIF, which I'm not even sure what that stands for, but their agents was using these weapons, and and was taken out really unceremoniously. Like we were witnessing someone who was essentially passing the torch. She never really got a moment to explain who she was. She was just dead, and then my man just took her garb and her weapons and all of a sudden started fighting. Like that, so jarring. It's so jarring. And if there's one thing that would really help orient us a little bit more, it would be to explain that disparity, you know, early on in the game, so we're not like just thinking like this is silly the whole time, unless that was intentional. But that would have been a really artistic and interesting counterintuitive choice, I think, given how serious we're supposed to take the content matter in the rest of the game. Anyway, that's where I'm at. It's 5:20. Let me get out of here. We'll talk more about it because this game is kind of deep, and I wish y'all well. Have a good night.